Detroit, Michigan. Long known as the automobile capital of the world, Detroit is a city with a rich history and diverse culture. Named after the Detroit River, connecting Lake Huron with Lake Erie. Detroit is the most populous city in the state of Michigan, with a population of around 639,000. The Metro Detroit area is home to 4.3 million people and is the second largest in the Midwest after the Chicago metropolitan area. Detroit is also famous for its distinctive Motown music sound from the 1960s, techno in the 80s, and the many popular hip-hop artists of today. Since reaching a peak population of 1.85 million at the 1950 census, Detroit's population has declined by more than 65%. While crime rates and homicides have declined from their peaks in the 1980s and 1990s, the city still faces challenges with robberies, carjackings, and a very high violent crime rate. Detroit's violent crime rate remains higher than the national average. In 2022, the city had a violent crime rate of 1,144.5 incidents per 100,000 residents, compared to the U.S. average of 219.8. Today, despite recent drops in overall crime, Detroit still ranks second in the United States, behind Memphis, for violent crime, with a rate of 20.59 per 1,000 residents.
Okay, what I heard was, it's like, bah, 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 bah. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? You know, I was scared. You know, my little brother right here, my father right here. And the second I heard the gunshots, I told my father to go inside the house. I looked at it, I seen 4 guys running, 3 guys running. And it shook me.
My wife and daughter's at home. We have to actually keep a gun on every floor. It's that bad. If she's washing clothes, it's a gun in the laundry room. She's on the first floor, it's a gun there. Who want to live like that?
Warrendale. Warrendale is a neighborhood located on the west side of Detroit with a population of about 20,336 residents. It is bordered by Ford Road to the south, Joy Road to the north, Southfield Freeway to the east, and the Detroit city limits on the west. Warrendale crime rates are 503% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in Warrendale are 1,239% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 8 chance of becoming a victim of crime. Originally named the village of Warrendale, the neighborhood was once its own municipality before being annexed by Detroit in the early 1900s. The main reason for the annexation was access to Detroit's modern water system, which was far more reliable than what the village could provide on its own at the time. Most houses in Warrendale had been constructed in the 1940s, with some being constructed at the turn of the 20th century. The neighborhood is one of the most diverse in the city. Its population makeup is 34% white, 31% black, and the final third is a combination of Arab, Asian, and Hispanic residents.
It's less than 2 miles from where I'm standing now. The initial call coming in around 3:30 this afternoon in broad daylight. That's when a neighbor reportedly heard what sounded to them to be gunshots. Those fears were confirmed when they looked outside and noticed a body lying in a driveway. It's the moment when you find out those worst fears are true. A scene that played out several times on Tireman Avenue near Evergreen as family members of a 35-year-old said to have lived here found out he was indeed the victim of a fatal shooting. The initial call to police came in around 3:30 Monday afternoon. A neighbor heard shots and then saw a blue truck speed away north on Tireman, leaving behind a 35-year-old man lying dead in his own driveway. As dispatchers relayed the information to officers en route, they were told to use caution, not knowing why this man was shot or where the shooter is now. Police quickly secured the area as detectives fanned out to neighboring homes looking for any additional clues. Police did tell me they found a bullet shell casing near the body, but didn't give any other details about potential evidence, asking anyone with knowledge of this crime to call Crime Stoppers, where your information is always kept anonymous.
Warrendale, like many neighborhoods in Detroit, has experienced economic and social decline over the past several decades. Once a thriving, working-class community, the neighborhood saw significant changes due to deindustrialization and economic downturns. The collapse of Detroit's auto industry led to job losses, which combined with rising crime rates. Nearly 50% of Warrendale's homes, about 4,100, have gone into tax foreclosure since 2012 according to Wayne County records, reflecting the neighborhood's deep economic struggles. With 46% of the population living below the poverty line and with a median income of $23,149, Warrendale falls significantly below the Wayne County median of $43,702, highlighting the area's financial hardships and ongoing challenges with housing stability. Notable gangs and hoods. West Warren Exit 8, 7400. Affiliations include Gangster Disciples and Maniac Latin Disciples. Rivals include other gangs under the 5 and 5600 including Toledo Mafia counts. 55 KPB. Affiliations include Bloods, Vice Lords, and Black Disciples directly from Chicago. Joy Road Rollin' 60s. More than likely inactive or completely gone due to being such a small faction. Von Steuben. The Von Steuben neighborhood is situated approximately 10 miles northeast of downtown. Its boundaries are 7 Mile Road to the north, Teppert Street on the west, Joanne Avenue to the east, and East McNichols Road to the south. Von Steuben crime rates are 520% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in Von Steuben are 1,246% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 7 chance of becoming a victim of crime. The Von Steuben neighborhood gets its name from Friedrich Wilhelm von Steuben, a German immigrant and officer in the Continental Army, best known for his rigorous training of George Washington's troops that helped secure American independence. But the name also reflects a deeper story, one of migration and industry. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Detroit became a hub for German immigrant laborers drawn to the city's booming factories as it transformed into the legendary Motor City. Echoes of this past remain etched into the neighborhood's street names: Hamburg, Strasbourg, Dresden, Sauer, and Grainer, subtle reminders of a once thriving German presence.
In Detroit with more as the city copes with a surge in violence. Randy.
Hey guys, and this young woman sadly is one of the latest victims of it. I'm told that she has a young son and was also her mother's caregiver. The scene where this all happened has been cleared out. The investigation far from over. Family and friends of a 25-year-old woman gunned down on the city's east side, wrapping their heads around her untimely death. It happened on the 18900 block of Beeland Street around 5:15 Wednesday evening.
Officers in the immediate area heard some gunfire. We're just south of 7 Mile on Beeland. Responded to that area, found a female shot multiple times in the street. Of course, request EMS, tried to help her out, but unfortunately she was deceased.
In addition to the 25-year-old woman, he was taken to a local hospital in temporary serious condition. Investigators believe the two victims knew each other. Right now, police know little about the gunman.
Very tragic, and we don't have all the facts right now. Our homicide team is here. We're gathering the facts. We need the community's help.
The property crime rate in Von Steuben is 132.2 per 1,000 residents per year, making it a high-risk area for theft and vandalism. In the neighborhood's western sections, the likelihood of becoming a victim of property crime is as high as 1 in 3, highlighting significant safety concerns for residents. There are ongoing efforts to revitalize Detroit's neighborhoods, aiming to address crime and foster economic development. However, despite these efforts, areas like Von Steuben still face challenges including loss of industries, high unemployment rates, and poverty, which have contributed to urban decay and population decline. Notable gangs and hoods. Smoke Camp. Home to rapper Smoke Camp Chino. Affiliations include Bloods off of East 7 Mile down to Albion, also known to go by A Block Runyon Boys. 220 SKF. 220 Stack King / Queen Family. A large gang with many ties, they share their territory with other affiliations including Max Out and COG. Cash Out Goons. Affiliations include Bloods and Vice Lords who are under the 5. Rivals include Crips and Gangster Disciples who are under the 6. Greensbriar. The Greensbriar neighborhood is located in the northeastern part of Detroit. It is bordered by the Mohican Regent and Pulaski neighborhoods, with the main vessel being 8 Mile Road to the north. Greensbriar crime rates are 227% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in Greensbriar are 541% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 14 chance of becoming a victim of crime. The neighborhood struggles with widespread gang violence, leading to frequent shootings, robberies, and drug-related activity. Greensbriar faces severe unemployment and poverty, with a median income of $31,313.
As you can imagine, that family absolutely devastated tonight. They tell me, Chakashawn Smith, they are cherishing the 37 years they had with her. That family tells us they should have had decades more, but that future and their time was cut short after she was murdered.
She was a very loving and kind person that didn't deserve what happened to her.
Chakashawn Smith's loved ones say the 37-year-old brought light and kindness to those she touched. But now this family has to come to terms with their heartbreaking new reality. Detroit police say back on March 4th, the mom of 2 was shot to death.
They don't have a mother anymore. And she did everything she could for her children. She loved them, she took care of them, and she was a true mother to them.
Investigators say Smith died at the Eminem motel on Detroit's east side. Police say this surveillance video captured the suspect walking through the parking lot.
My baby didn't deserve this at all. She had nothing in her heart that was evil for someone to do this to her, to hurt her in any kind of way. She was a loving person.
For Smith's family, the suspect and circumstances surrounding her murder remain a mystery.
We don't know who he is, have no clue, and why he did that. And it's devastating. It's devastating. Wherever he is, they need to catch him and give him his punishment, because what he did was so unfair.
While this family anxiously waits for answers, they're forced to plan an unexpected funeral. They set up this GoFundMe to help pay for the expenses. Meanwhile, they have a message for the man responsible for Smith's murder.
You must well turn yourself in. You left 2 kids behind and a family that loved her. You don't understand what you done. You destroyed us.
The Greensbriar neighborhood and nearby 8 Mile Road gained global recognition for a former resident that lived at 19946 Dresden Street. Born Marshall Bruce Mathers III on October 17, 1972, Grammy Award-winning rapper Eminem was once part of the Greensbriar community. Eminem's father abandoned his family when he was a year and a half old, and Eminem was raised by his mother, Debbie. By the age of 12, Eminem and his mother moved between states, rarely staying in one house for more than a year or two and mostly living with family members, moving several times before settling in Detroit. Eminem's time in Detroit would prove to be most significant, shaping his unfiltered gritty rap style and raw point of view. Eminem's childhood home on Dresden Street was featured on the cover of his 2000 album The Marshall Mathers LP and Marshall Mathers LP 2 in 2013. Both albums would go on to receive Grammys. The bungalow-style home between 8 Mile and 7 Mile roads sat on a street with more than 70 vacant dwellings. The house would be demolished in 2013 after being damaged by arson. The Michigan Land Bank, the state agency that owned the property, deemed the home structurally unsafe before clearing it for demolition. Eminem's childhood home would make a comeback in his Toby music video, thanks to the help of CGI. Franklin Park. Franklin Park is a neighborhood on the west side with a population of around 10,830 residents. Franklin Park's boundaries are Plymouth Road on the north, Joy Road to the south, Southfield Road to the east with Bird Road and Trinity Street on the west side. Franklin Park crime rates are 472% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in Franklin Park are 1,216% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 8 chance of becoming a victim of crime. The neighborhood struggles with widespread gang and drug activity, contributing to high rates of robberies, homicides, and assaults. The neighborhood also faces economic challenges, with a median income of $29,235 and a median home price of $30,264.
2 men are dead after police say someone wearing a ski mask got out of an SUV and started shooting. Happened this morning on Evergreen, south of I-96. Victor Williams with what we know so far. This happened right in front of some folks, Victor.
Yeah, that's right, Devin. And this was a very bold crime that turned into a very tragic situation. Another example of all the violence that seemingly has no end in sight.
One ran that way and one ran that way. They both collapsed. It's really horrible.
A drive-by shooting leaves 2 dead on Evergreen in broad daylight. Very unexpected for Billy Christian.
We heard gunshots because my mom was getting out of my vehicle. For anybody to pull a gun out and take a life, yeah, that's not good.
Witnesses say it all happened somewhere around 12 p.m. Monday afternoon when a man in a ski mask got out of an older model SUV and started firing shots at 2 targets standing in front of their home.
One person was not able to run away, was basically killed right there. The other one was running away and he either got hit in the initial gunshots or as he was running away got hit and he passed away across the street.
Captain Michael DeSico says the search continues for the older model SUV that took off on Evergreen, but they're looking at evidence left behind.
We do have casings from a 9mm, so we'll be recovering that evidence. There's also a vehicle across the street was struck, so we're going to have some ballistic evidence from that as well.
As investigators try to find the man responsible, Mary Jackson Christian is so sad to see the 2 bodies just laying on the ground in her beloved neighborhood.
Killing like this here just don't make sense. Cold-blooded. That's what it was, cold-blooded. Just to shoot. They take off.
Notable gangs and hoods. 1200 P Rock. Affiliations include 5-9 Pyrus based around Plymouth and Evergreen. Rivals include other gangs under the 6. RTM Scud Zone. Home to rapper T Grizzly. Related through money, RTM is made up of multiple cliques, including YFN Young Fresh Niggas, YNF Young Niggas Flexin', and BSM Bang Squad Mafia. Bang Squad Mafia is the largest and most reputable of the three cliques. Other affiliations include Bounty Hunter Bloods, Insane Vice Lords, NWS, PBI, and WSP. Many cities have culture and fashion trends unique to their city. Detroit is known for its Cartier glasses.
You could be in wherever, Las Vegas, man. When you see them buffs, you automatically, like, without a person speaking, without their voice, without them saying anything, you know where they from. It's automatic Detroit.
Pull up, chain bust, and my watch bust. White tee spray, baccarat, white buffs. Just left the west side, I was not touched. East side love when a nigga pop up. If they Cartier fake, then they not us. They do soft in the game, so I can't trust. Just is not no trend, it's a lifestyle. I just got some new ops cause I'm iced out. I ain't gotta go back and forth cause my car talk. I might pull up in the Benz or a track home. Bus ain't got no serial number, nigga, take them off. Hit the club in white sticks just to break them off. See me shining in the dark cause them diamonds in it. I ain't had to bust the frames, but I did it, nigga. These real gold, or I do the Buffalo. Got a snack in Detroit, one in Buffalo. Just know a nigga don't like when
For African Americans in the city, Cartiers are one accessory that's nearly a rite of passage. In a place where nearly 40% of the population lives below the federal poverty line, sending the message that you're above that marker has value. Bahu, general manager of MJ Diamonds, says it started back in the 80s. They started making the main Cartier glasses in 1983, and Detroit came on the scene right away. It was a lot of Detroit auto money back then. With a retail price that's since jumped to $2,650 and up for the most popular frames, they've also become deeply associated with crime. In Detroit, they're referred to as Carties, Buffs, Yays, or Sticks. For a while, the most fashionable designs were the Woods, made with Bubinga lumber, and wire frames, with lenses fixed in a thin gold rim. But today, at the top of Detroit's Cartier eyewear hierarchy are the all-white Buffies, immortalized by local rapper Rich Ken on a song of the same name. The whiter the Buffs, the more coveted the frames. D. Mills, as he was known to his friends, wore a pair the night he died that were as white as ivory. According to the Detroit Police Department, between 2012 and 2016, Cartier glasses figured in 9 homicides, 17 non-fatal shootings, and 2,158 robberies. There was an instance in 2014 where in exchange for a watch and Cartier glasses, a man named Timothy Jones helped a neighbor dispose of his wife's corpse. There was the trio of carjackers who drove off with $1,600 in cash and a pair of vintage frames. And on June 7th of 2018, a 64-year-old man had a pair of Cartiers snatched off his face as he walked off a city bus. While Cartier-related crime appears to be tapering off, the year Daryl Miller was killed, Detroit police reportedly estimated that a staggering 15 to 20 homicides were in some way related to the Cartier glasses.
As a testament to the city's love for the glasses, GMAC started a GoFundMe during the pandemic, rallying to get Governor Gretchen Whitmer a pair. It didn't take long for the community to make sure Big Gretch was in with the trends.
Fitzgerald. Located in northwest Detroit, the Fitzgerald neighborhood is bordered by McNichols Road to the north, Livernois Avenue to the east, Finkel Avenue to the south, and Wyoming Road to the west. Fitzgerald crime rates are 448% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in Fitzgerald are 1,142% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 8 chance of becoming a victim of crime. The Fitzgerald neighborhood honors jazz legend Ella Fitzgerald with a park on Prairie Street, reflecting a broader urban renewal movement. Located about 10 miles from downtown Detroit, the neighborhood is known for its tight-knit, multi-generational residents who support community longevity through neighborhood gardens. Revitalization efforts have included the $4 million Fitzgerald Revitalization Project, aimed at restoring blighted homes and vacant lots. Over the years, the neighborhood has faced economic decline, high crime, and urban decay. In the 1960s, demographic shifts led to racial tensions and police harassment of black youth groups like the Infernos, founded in 1966 by 9 African-American teenage girls from Cooley High School. Surrounded by hostile white subdivisions, they aimed to create a safe space for black teens, renting a youth center and organizing chaperone dances at churches after being denied access to local venues.
Tonight, a gas station shut down by Detroit police after tragedy took place on the city's west side. Good evening and welcome to 7 News Detroit at 11. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Simon Shaquette. This is not the first time there's been trouble at the mobile station near the Lodge and McNichols. Tonight, a family completely distraught when they say their loved one died after running from a clerk who was firing at him.
7 News Detroit reporter Christiana Ford talked to police who shut down the station and the family who says this is a step in the right direction.
Just one day after the family of Tony Williams demanded the gas station on McNichols be shut down, as you can see, the pumps are off. The city of Detroit suspending their business license.
At this point, we consider this business very dangerous.
Detroit police shutting down the mobile gas station on McNichols on the city's west side after suspending their business license.
Earlier last week, we had an incident where a clerk left behind the glass and for what appears to be suspecting someone of shoplifting, started shooting indiscriminately outside here on the public streets, putting this community at danger. That is not okay.
The person that clerk was allegedly shooting at was 38-year-old Tony Williams.
Gentle, spirit, humble guy, most positive being I ever met.
His family says he was suffering from mental illness.
It didn't have to happen. It didn't have to happen at all.
Shut it down! Shut it down! After holding a vigil here on Sunday and demanding the gas station be shut down.
This brings us a lot of peace going forward because it's one step.
Detroit police are also demanding accountability from the gas station who has faced scrutiny before. In May 2023, 3 victims were locked inside the gas station by the store's clerk, while he and a shooter were arguing over a theft that police say totaled about $3. This is a message to other gas stations as well in Detroit?
Absolutely. Any business owner, you are here put on notice that if you can carry yourselves and the actions that happen here, again, using firearms against citizens, even if it is, you think it's shoplifting, if your life is not in danger, there's no excuse to use a firearm.
Fitzgerald has battled skyrocketing crime, with rates 516% above the Michigan average. In 2017, the Fitzgerald Revitalization Project promised transformation, rehabbing 100-plus vacant homes and turning empty lots into green spaces. While it brought Ella Fitzgerald Park and community assets, it fell short, completing just 13 homes by 2019, crippled by funding gaps and delays. Notable gangs and hoods. MWB/ATM. Most Wanted Brothers/ All the Miles. A small faction with rivals including Rollin' 60s Crips, 5 Deuce Hoovers, and PA, known to rep the LA Dodgers hat and the 6 Mile section heavily. 72 Yay, RBI, and PA. Home to late rapper Proof of D12. PA's, PA Down, 7 Deuce, Puritan Avenue Boys, also home of the infamous Detroit street legend T. Stuckey, who is currently serving life for murdering a police officer. Brightmoor. Brightmoor, known locally as Brightmoor, is a neighborhood located near the northwest border of the city. Brightmoor is bordered by Puritan Avenue to the north, the CSX Railway to the south, Evergreen Road to the east, and West Outer Drive, DeCosta Street, and Telegraph Road to the west. Brightmoor crime rates are 406% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in Brightmoor are 986% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 9 chance of becoming a victim of crime. In 1921, developer Bert Eddie Taylor purchased 160 acres in Redford Township, just 1 mile from Detroit's city limits. He envisioned Brightmoor as an affordable housing community for Southern migrants seeking work in Detroit's booming auto industry. The subdivision opened in 1922, and Taylor actively recruited Appalachian workers with the promise of factory jobs. Between 1923 and 1924, Brightmoor expanded by 2,913 acres, with most residents finding employment in automobile manufacturing.
Very active scene behind me, but investigators have actually pushed us quite a bit away from the area, so that gives you an idea as to how graphic it may be over there. Obviously, they are also trying to preserve this crime scene that they are dealing with. Just to give you an idea as to where we are now, we're in Westbrook and West Outer Drive. Police have this area blocked off. It is in the Brightmoor community. We're told that they were called out here right around 4:15 this morning after neighbors heard several shots and got concerned. Now, when they got out here, they found the victim in the roadway. He was bound, he was shot, and he was set on fire. Now, they believe he's a man, but his upper body was severely burned, so at first it was very difficult to tell. Now, we were told that his legs were tied up with an orange electrical cord, that there were also several shell casings found near his body. Someone in the area did see a car speed away from the scene, and we're being told that it was a light-colored minivan that headed south on Outer Drive. We're also being told that there was a black man wearing a gray hoodie that was in that vehicle, but beyond that, we don't have much of a description of the possible suspect involved in this. Of course, we're going to remain out here and try and get more details about this gruesome discovery, this grisly murder on the city's west side, in which a man was found tied up, shot, and set on fire. So, of course, stay with us for the very latest.
In 2009, John Carlisle, Detroit blogger John of the Metro Times, said ghetto stereotypes thrive here: broad daylight drug dealing, preteen pregnancies, long gone or never known fathers, and houses falling apart or giving way to vacant lots. In a 40-year period until 2011, the number of residents in Brightmoor decreased dramatically. Crime appearing in the 1990s and 2000s caused additional residents to leave. In 1990, the neighborhood had 23,775 residents, with 12% being senior citizens. By 2000, the population had dropped 16.5% to 19,837, with 37.2% under 18 and 5.3% over 64. The decline accelerated by 2010, with the population falling 35.3% to 12,836. where 29.9% were under 18 and 12.7% were seniors. Notable gangs and hoods. BMG. Brightmoor Gangster Disciples, being one of the most reputable sets in all of Detroit, an extremely active set that have maintained control of the area for many years. BMG is also notable for having one of the largest territories in Detroit. BGC. Brightmoor Gangster Crips, an active neighborhood gangster Crip set on Finkel Avenue in Brightmoor. The set has been around the area as early as the mid-2000s, with many members converting from nearby Ally BMG around the early 2010s. Rivals include Roland 60s Crips, Schoolcraft Boys, Latin Kings, Puritan Avenue, Vice Lords, and Roland 20s Bloods. Finkel Avenue, home to rapper Payroll Giovanni. Finkel Avenue is a long avenue that stretches from Brightmoor all the way to the Dexter Finkel neighborhood. The avenue crosses through multiple hoods and territories. Hoods include the Finkel Avenues aka Finkel Avenue Boys, 4-1, and Bylug. Fishkorn. Fishkorn crime rates are 490% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in Fishkorn are 1,409% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 8 chance of becoming a victim of crime. The Fishkorn or Fishkorn neighborhood is named after Ephraim Smith Fishkorn, who was a land developer and home builder for 42 years. His companies, the Fishkorn Real Estate Company and the Fishkorn Construction Company, built over 7,000 homes on the west side of Detroit and into Redford Township. He was called a pioneer builder because when he came to Detroit in 1913, Plymouth Road was just a gravel path. The first instance of adulteration of Fishkorn's name is unknown. However, in the widely adopted cityscape mapping of Detroit neighborhoods, the name was listed as Fishkorn. Neighborhoods names includes Fishkorn, and that naming has become the de facto preferred name for the area. What began as a few accidentally dropped letters in 2003 has turned into a full-blown renaming that confuses Detroiters and visitors alike.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Kimberly Gill coming to you this evening with breaking news. A Detroit police officer has been shot on the city's west side. We want to get live right now to Pamela Osborne. She is near the scene following this story for us tonight. Pamela, what have you been able to gather and find out for us this evening?
Well, Kimberly, a lot of information is still coming in right now, but we do know, in addition to that police officer, that a suspect was shot here as well. A very quiet scene here at Joy and Hubble. That's the intersection there. You can see police have this entire area taped off. They were on the loudspeaker when we pulled up about 10-15 minutes ago, asking people who had gathered to see what was going on here to head out of the area. I checked in with a contact that I have at DPD. We know that injured officer was taken to Sinai Grace Hospital. We do have a crew that's en route to that scene there. The police chief is headed there as well. Again, we are live at the intersection of Joy and Hubble. We're hearing the incident actually took place at Marlowe Street and Joy Road. So a very fluid situation, a lot of information coming in that we're trying to sort out, get more for you. As soon as we have some more information, we'll of course be sure to update you. But for now, that's what we have here on the city's west side. I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4. Kimberly, back to you.
Yeah, Pam.
With a violent crime rate surpassing the national average by nearly 1,500%, these alarming statistics highlight the severity of safety concerns in the area. Economic hardships have also exacerbated these issues. The neighborhood faces an unemployment rate of 10%, which is 120% higher than the U.S. national average. Additionally, the median household income in Fishkorn is approximately $23,000, placing it 59% below the national average. These socioeconomic factors contribute to the area's struggles with poverty and crime. Fishkorn also has one of the highest rates of pedestrians being hit by vehicles. The high incidence of these types of crime speaks to the volume of dysfunction and lack of policing in this neighborhood. Notable gangs and hoods. Joy Road Vice Lords. A section of multiple Vice Lord factions. Affiliations include CVL, Conservative Vice Lords, and IVL, Insane Vice Lords. 9,000 Glock Boys. Joy Road and Pressed. Rivals include TMCNE and Cash Gang.